In the blink of an eye, unleash the extraordinary. Step beyond the ordinary. This isn't just a course, it's a journey into the heart of visual effects creation with Houdini. From the stillness of a rain to the chaos of a battle, discover the secrets known only to the pros. Join us, elevate your skills, bring your visions to life with precision, artistry, and unmatched power of Houdini. My name is Diogo Guerreiro. I'm a senior FX artist working at MPC here in Montreal. In this course, you will learn procedural stone road creation, rain effects including rain splashes, drips, interaction with characters and buildings, ripple effects from rain and characters stepping on puddles, retime effects and character motion to create a slow motion shot, skin laceration and blood burst, procedural skin cut with Material X, using vellum and flip to design a complete decapitation effect, setting up renders with Solaris and Karma XPU. Join me now in this amazing course and become a pro effects artist. Thank you for joining me in this journey. We have so much to cover. The idea of this project is to understand how to break up the effect into many small little things that is happening throughout the scene, like the environment effects, like the rain dropping, and also the character effects. And throughout this course, divided in 51 classes, the key thing that I want you to take away from this course, of course, some of the techniques, but also the idea of how to think about VFX, how to think about accomplish things in Houdini. And I think that's very powerful, because once you grasp it, and once you put your time into it and understand a little bit of like the tools available to you, you're going to understand how to approach things that they should make sense for each scene, and also how to take advantage of the procedural aspect of Houdini, where we build different scenes, we change the characters in the position of the characters, and we can run all the effects just like with a click pressing. It might work in all of your shots. So that's a lot of like time saving. And of course, depend on the shot, like if you want to get like a different camera angle that I did in this, like if you want to have a close-up that I didn't do in the feet or something, you might need to do some tweaks, but that's just part of how effect work. You get like your shots, you get your cameras, and you need to approach that in the most effective way. So let's jump into Houdini and let's have a lot of fun. Thank you. Hey, so let's start looking to the reference that I gathered. So basically, the environment, I like this type of like floor with these flat rocks that have this organic shape to them, and it looks really cool. And I think with the water on top, it will look really awesome. So it's more or less like this, or there's other, maybe this is a bit like rectangulars and less organic, but this one has the mood and the feel that I'm looking for. So we can start by working on our environments, and the building itself, I'm not going to cover that. I'm using quick KitBash 3D. Shogun, I think is the name of the pack, but there is some free assets. I'm going to provide the links for the free assets that you can actually use, but you need to texture and everything. But we're going to cover everything about the creation of the ground and the effects. This course is focused on the effects, so that's how we're going to focus. And the ground, I think it's interesting to cover because we can do like some really cool procedural system for that. That's going to be very useful in different situations that you might face. So let me open up Houdini and let's dive in. So here I already saved my asset. So let's create like a geo node. Oh, sorry. Let's start with a geostone. I think how to write that, not totally sure. So let's do a grid I want to start with like a 3 by 8 maybe. Just so we start with a grid, but we're going to build our path later. But as this is a procedural system, it should work in either way. So yeah, let me scatter some points that we're going to work with the Voronov fracture. So let me do that. I want to get like much less points. And also the relaxed iterations, I want some, like I don't want like this to happen, but I want to have like less, you know, like something like, yeah, so we have bigger and smaller pieces. Let's start with that and let's place like a Voronoi fracture. It requires the points and also the geometry. Okay, if you don't see the colors, you can turn this on the visualizer, right? And it's good to see what's going on. You see this kind of like overlapping thing. It's just like we don't need to create interior because it's just like we're working just with a flat surface, and that's great. So now what we can do a for each because I want to work on each pieces. We want to round them up, right? Like so, as we saw in our references, we want to round them up. I'm seeing here a lot of uniform pieces. I want to reduce the iteration maybe like so, and maybe we can global feed. Let me play with the seed. I think, yeah, that looks nice. I like this. So maybe let's keep 2. Yeah. So let's do a for each. The for each, imagine that now what we have, like we have a lot of points. Each point represents like the corners, but the primitives, each one of these is a different primitives. And that kind of matches the number of points that we have in our scatter. So let's see. We have 76. Of course, is not the points, but it's related to that, of course, because the points on the scatter means each center, but then it's going to provide like different polygons because between 3 different points we might have like 5 or 4 different pieces, but each primitive is one of these. And then if I would do something like, for example, if I would subdivide that, if I do subdivide in here, and let me see this move. Let me just delete that and let me visualize that. So here's the subdivision. It's just subdividing it, but understanding that as a whole thing. So it doesn't do anything for us. But let me show you something cooler that we can do. If we use a for each connected piece, or each primitive would work as well, but I want to do like for each connected piece, I want to do something with that. And when you look to the first input, you're going to see only one, and then here is for each one, right? So that's happening. Also on here, I don't want any division in this, so I'm going to do like 2 by 2. So we have like just the center pieces and I don't want additional subdivision coming from the grid itself. So now if I do a subdivide, something start to happen here. So let me show you. Let me go 3. And instead of using this, I want to use the smooth. There is one that is we can keep like sharpen edge boundaries. That's what we're looking for. And here you can do like smooth everywhere. And that's going to create that like, so it's taking each primitive and it's subdividing it. And because it doesn't have like any geometry, it's going to round the corners, the subdivision. So going to like that. And it's just like giving us a little bit more. We don't need to go that further. It's just like helping round it that more. I think 3 is enough for us. at this stage. And then I also want to do a poly extrude. So let me go in here, let me get my... So everything that we do inside this is going to keep re-evaluating for all the pieces. So what we can see here now is that we have like 75 pieces that actually, yeah, the polygons 76 primitives. So it's going to do for each one of those. Each process that we do between this and this is going to reevaluate each individual piece and do that. So now I'm going to do a poly extrude. I want to go like 0.05 just to extrude a little bit. I want to output the back. It means it's going to close this, otherwise it's just like pushing up. So we're outputting the back, and that's it. So now I can do another subdivide, but this time we do a regular one, and let me do a subdivide. I'm not going to copy that one. So this one is starting to get like, I need like some normals on this guy, but for now we have like this, and we start to have like our kind of like our rounded pieces. So that's great for this. And then I want to use like a mountain node. The mountain node is also kind of like a noise on the points. And of course we want to go like much less than that. So I want to just go like very tiny numbers here, like just like a little bit. And also we can have like a little bit smaller sizes. So you can see we're starting to get some nice variations on it. And then I want to do something else. I want to do a VGB from polygons. The VGB from polygons is going to help us regain a little bit like of like, it's going to help us doing a lot of different type of manipulation on our geometry, because we're going to start manipulating the volumes and not the polygons. So for that I need to get like more resolution on this one. So we can maybe this one. And when I look to here, when I flag this one, we're looking to one individual piece. And when I look here, I'm looking to all of them. So it take a little bit longer. So what we can do for now, we can, yeah, maybe we can try to keep like that for now, and then we move. So I want to do a volume noise. I think there is the next Jeff is this one. And maybe instead of letting it evaluate all of them, what we can do a couple of things, because I don't want to only look to one individual piece, but I also don't want to evaluate all the 76 pieces, because now start to be a little bit slower. So what I want to do, I want to come back to our grid, and I want to reduce the grid to 1 meter by 3 meters. And then it's going to redo everything, and we're going to see just like smaller. Maybe we need to. The pieces are going to be really small here. So because we have like much smaller. So I'm going to just maybe 16 for now. And now it's going to just reevaluate for 16 pieces. That is a good number for us. So let me work on that. So I want to change this displacement to closest point, right? I want to also band of voxels. I want to set this to manual. And I want to set like this to 10, just because it's going to give us more area for the volume to exist, because a VGB like the SDF volume, it kind of optimize our volume, and it only get like 3 by default. Like normally it's like when you do this, is 3 voxels out and down, and when I'm doing this, I'm allowing it to go more voxel, so it doesn't clip as easy as it would with the default value. I think I could just like set this to automatic, and maybe here I would go like if I would go 7 and 7. The interior maybe we don't even need that much. So yeah, it filled out a little bit in here, right? So I don't want to change that because we don't need. For now, we can just play with this one in here, and I will keep it as automatic for now. But I want to reduce that, and zero center we're going to keep. I want to change the to fast, and starting to have like something that is interesting enough for me that I think it's good. Maybe we don't need to have like that much. Maybe we can reduce that a little bit more. Yeah, we got like some breakups, but not a lot of this. So yeah, it's good. So we can do now uh, a video. We could do like some dilation, and then like if you come here like VGB uh, reshape, it could help because it would dilate, and then we could have like this noise happening, right? And then we can have like this a copy of that later after that, and set that to erode. So it's going to erode back, or we could just smooth that out. So I'm going to erode less, and I'm going to do a VGB smooth STF. But I want to use the mean curvature flow is less aggressive than this one, and just a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to have like some interesting features to um, our stones. But now I want to convert it back to VGBs, to polygons. So VGB convert. And polygons. We could just check. I think I want to do like just to reduce a little bit the poly count for now. It's good. I also want to do a smooth on the polygons itself. So I'm just visualizing one of them. So it's good. I want to go like 40. And let's see. Yeah, it rounds up a little bit. When you reduce the filter quality, it gets more aggressive. So this is almost good, but maybe we can dial this down a little bit, but keep the filter quality lower. So have like a more sharper rock, a little bit more flatter. So maybe 15. Yeah, I think this is looking good. Maybe in here the adaptivity we can go lower just to have more polygons on the it's thing areas that are really flat is going to have like bigger polygons, but areas that are smaller going to have like more resolution to it. So we can add back some noise, but now the noise are attribute noise, attribute noise. This time we're going to add on the polygons, but I want to add like it on P, right? I want to have like zero centered, and I want to go like really, really tiny. Maybe not two zeros, but one, like something like that, maybe 4 and 0.7. Yeah, starting to get like a little bit of variation, maybe 3. Yeah, that looks nice. Uh, what I'm doing here is taking the rock, but I'm adding these features because we can have like water accumulating some of these dips of the rock, and it's going to give a very nice reflection on the ground. That's why I'm using that. Now we have like this amount of polygons. We can maybe push it to have like less, maybe half of the polygons. Yeah, it's a lot of polygons for this rock. So let me go here and do a poly reduce. I want to get like maybe 30% of the poly count, the original, and we end up with that. That looks really nice, and we have 1,000 now. And now it's going to cook for the 16 pieces, and this is the result. I like that some of them are going to get holes, and that's the interesting of doing it for each piece, because we're going to get like this nice organic variation on them. So the size of the rocks and the amount of space between them is something that we can play also with the scatter. Is going to define a lot of these variations, and also how much we want to smooth that out, right? Like we can crease it, we can do a lot of cool things with that. So that's the basic of the stones, but we're going to keep proceeding, doing other things with that. We need the interior part, and we're going to get like a little bit more complex on the next chapter, and then yeah, let's keep working. Let's keep working on this guy. I want to increase the size a little bit so we have a little bit more room for that. Like, so let's me get like maybe 2.5. Yeah, and then we should increase the number of points. So yeah, we can always place like a person here, like just for scale. For example, we can have like a test geometry. Yeah, it can be like Tommy. So you see the size of the rocks. I think we can dial this down a little bit, maybe. Yeah, 31, and I think it's good. So we're just taking a little bit of ground, right? So all this, if we come to the end, it's going to reprocess everything, and then we can have a look and the result. And then I'm going to show you a little trick. So you see the distance between the rocks. Maybe this distance is a bit too large for my taste. So I want to go back and see where we can improve that. So what we did here, I think all this is good, like the subdivision, all that. But then the VDB from polygons, when we did like the reshape, one way is that to reshape it bigger here. So if we change this to 2, it's going to change the look. And I'm going to disable the poly reduce, because the poly reduce is just one more step at this stage that we don't need to have. It's just like cooking the reduce polygons for each individual piece, and we don't need that. And maybe I want to see this move shaded. So when I increase that, you see that I diminish the spaces. I still have like these gaps, but I have a little bit more space. Okay, one other thing that we can do, I'm going to place to manual because I want to go back to this. I want to disable the VGB reshape back when we eroding it back. So I'm going to do a different thing, and then let's compare. So I'm keeping it 1, but I'm reducing when it shrinks. So we increase the gap a little bit more. But then where we can go, I think we might, if we don't smooth this out, we're going to gain more connection. So this is looking really nice. And if the thickness of it's something that bothers, we can always do something like just a regular, or in all of them, or just in here, you can do a transform. And if you do the transform, and if you use the center pivot, it's just a preset that I have here that is going to take each individual piece. And if you do like this expression, $CEX on the pivot, $CY and $CEX, it means that's going to do it from the center of each piece. So now if I go back in the scale, in the Y, and I reduce that to 0.75, for example, I'm going to make everything thinner, but they're going to keep the same structure in all of them. So I think I did it. No? That's great. So with sometimes you like the shapes, you like everything, but you just want the rock to be thinner. I think I can push this even further, maybe 0.5 is going to be even thinner, but we're going to still have like everything as is. Maybe we start to get some little bit sharper edges, but it's look in general. I'm going to increase that to 6.5, and then we can enable the poly reduce back. So yeah, that's really great. I love it. So we have nice shapes, we have nice rocks, and it's fully procedural. If we change the shape, we're going to work that later. But for now, I want, what you can do, you can file cache this stage. So let me do like a file cache. And let's cache this. I have like this name, Stones Ground. And I'm going to, for now, I'm not going to cache because we're going to cache the real thing that we have. So for now, what I want to do, I want to do a stash. The stash is just going to stash this into memory, into the file, and it's not going to recook all before that, but it's going to increase the size of your saved hip file, right? So just to keep that in mind, but it's not going to keep recooking everything. Next, what I want to do, I want to do a couple of things. So one thing is that I want to take that grid that we have. So here I'm going to place like a null. I'm going to say that, let's say this out base, right? So this is the base. We're going to have a different base later, like with the path that we want. But I want to do an object merge, and I want to paste that base in here. So now we have like the base grid here, and I want to poly extrude this guy. Maybe we can even copy the same value that we have here, but yeah, I think it's poly extrude. Oh, I forgot to enable that, but anyway, it's good for now. I'm going to do 0.04 maybe, or maybe 0.5. I'm going to output, and then I'm going to subdivide that. Ooh. Okay, so maybe do we have like this? Yeah, I just need more revolution on this, so I'm going to override crease attribute, and I'm going to increase that in here. And let me visualize with that so we can see what we're doing. Oh, yeah, like that. Maybe 6. I think we're getting too much on this area and not a lot in here. So what I want to do, maybe just to show you different things that you can do, we can place like a group We can keep the group as primitives, but we keep by normal. And I want everything that's facing up and change the threshold. So now we have only this group 1. I want to get like another group. I'm going to call this group 1 as well. So I'm going to copy this because now it's being named the name of the node itself, but I want to get like group 1, and I'm going to not replace, I want to union with existing, and I want to set this to -1. So now we have a group that is both these sides, and that's really good. So what we can do now, we can do a divide on everything, and we can do a 3 divide only on these groups. I want the group 1. And now if I push this, I'm not increasing the amount of divisions in here, but I'm increasing the amount of points in here. So now we have like just a very nice way that you don't subdivide more and more and more this that we don't need, but we have a lot of resolution in here. So now I want to add like the mountain node. Mountain again, just to give like, this is the dirt area that we're going to have like on our terrain. So for this one, I want to, I don't know, like 0.2, just a tiny bit of variation. And I want more variation on this dirty ground. I think it's good. Simplex, yeah, I think it's good. I would go even lower in the amplitude, or maybe a little bit more here. That's something that you need to play with, but it's good enough. So now we're going to do a VGB from polygons. VGB from polygons. We need a decent resolution, but don't need to be that big. Maybe this one is enough. And great, so we have the base. Now I want to convert that to VGB. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come in here and do the VGB from polygons with this guy, right? Awesome. Same resolution, both of them. I want to do a little bit of reshape. I want to erode this a little bit because I'm going to do an operation of combining these two. So let me do a VGB combine first. And the VGB combine, I want to have like this one first and this one second. And the operation here, I want to get like difference. I want to take away from my dirt, the ground, the rocks, the stones. So we say like difference, you see, and it's cutting down my geometry here. But I want to erode this slightly. So I want to do a VGB erode. VGB erode. What is happening? Reshape, sorry. Is the road is the operation, but is the node is the reshape. So I want to erode this a little bit, like just 0.3, so our rocks are a little bit smaller, and now it's subtracting it from the original one. In here, if I do like this, if I increase that to exterior and that to increase more, I'm going to gain a little bit more, or you're going to increase the memory. If I fill the interior, now it's just filled in, but I don't see any big difference. So this is good enough. And now I can do a VGB convert back to polygons. Most of the time when doing Boolean operations, I tend to go with VGBs. I think they are more stable than regular, just doing like polygons to polygons and Boolean out. I think this gives a little bit of a better result and fills in the spaces. So now we have like this geometry, and this geometry is really good. Let me just do a transform, and let me transform this minus 0.01, maybe just tiny bit, maybe even less than that, because then what I can do, I can come in here and let's say, let's do a color for these guys. Let's say that our dirt for now is just like this color here, and let's get like another one for our stones, maybe this color, and let's merge these guys so we can see more roughly what we get. And here is what we're getting, and look how cool is that, because now we have like this kind of like going inside the dirt. Maybe it's when it gets wet, it's just override and goes into the top of our rock, and that's really good. What you can do also, like what happens if we don't do this combination and take this away? If we do that, it also works nicely, and sometimes it's good enough, but sometimes you also want to have like this little gap between the rock and this, and that's where you see like this is where it kind of like helps blending it. You have like these because the water drains and can go into these areas, so it gives a little bit more interesting shape to it. So that's why I like it. And if we push this resolution a little bit higher, so I'm going to push this to 0.7, it's going to help us get more definition on these edges, and we get like this nice variations and organic feel to that. Awesome. So our system is built. The next lesson, just to do the final tweak, we're going to draw our road, and we're going to see this work as default, but then also we need to compute the UVs for shading later, and creating groups and creating a few attributes that's going to help us on the shader, and also when we want to have like the water playing in here, and other cool things. So now let's take our little system here and let's create the actually road that we want our system to have. So for that, let me look back to the references, and I like the road to have like this S shape, something that it's not like that linear. I want to have like this kind of more or less like what we have here, but even like more, because I want to hide and I want to see that this road was going on the back of this building, probably going that way. So something like that. And we can do that. You can do that in any way that you want. I'm just going to do on my what I envisioned for this project. So I want to do like a draw curve, right? And the projection for the draw curve, I actually want to do it on the XZ plane, so in this plane, and I want to draw this shape. So I want more or less something like this, and then probably going this. Yeah, interesting. I think more or less something like this would be fine for us. And then with that, I want to resample it, because now we have so many points. Oh, let me visualize that. You see we have very jagged many points, and I want to resample that. So let me place a resample. All right, I want this to be every 5, 6. Let me interpolate curves, have like a little bit of nice shape on this guy. I also want to enable the tangent hue and the curve hue. And yeah, that's good. So now I want to do a sweep. The sweep, you can enable this like a ribbon, and then maybe if you do like a big one, you'd have a path. But I want to do a different thing, because what I want to do, I want to have like deepen the road, deepen in the center a little bit, so you have more accumulation of water and it kind of rises a little bit on the edges. So instead of using the ribbon, I want to get like a line, and my line I want to have like in the X direction. I want the length to be like 7 meters. This is the width of our thing, and I want 10 points on my line, right? So if I do that, already we would have like this. So it's working, right? So it's already working for us. But I want to do the soft transform on this line. So what I want to do, I want to take this measurement, copy relative reference, paste relative reference, and divided that by 2. So we have our line in the center of the word, -2, I guess. -2, yeah. Now I have our line running on the center. I think it's good. And then I want to do a soft transform. And the soft transform, I want to get like maybe 1 or 2 points. 1 point is enough. So what I want to do, I want to grab like the group. I want to grab the number of points, copy parameter, and I want to paste relative reference divided by 2. So it gives us, no, it doesn't work. So yeah, roughly the point number 5. And then I want to just make a little transform on this guy. You see, it just make it like dips this a little bit. Maybe I want, let's see the numbering, 4 and 5. So I also want the point number 4, 5. And also I want to increase this 3.5, something like that. So you see now it's getting a little bit lower at the edge. And now I also want to make these 2 points a little bit higher. So I want to do the opposite of that. So I want to make this like that. And let me see the point numbering, maybe the 1 and the 8. 1 and 8. And I want to go the other way around and a little bit less of that. So we have now this shape, like I think it's going to be better to see the accumulation of water in the center of that. So let me just enable this guy. And now let me disable that. Oh, not this one. Yeah, this. We see we have our street, and I think that is good. Let me see the construction. If we're going to change anything, I think it's all good. I don't need to. I think we have like a fairly good road. And then now is the moment that we're going to get like the path, the base. Oh, so I want to change this to here. And then we need to scatter. And I'm going to enable this so we can see the scale of our stones and the Voronoi fracture. I think, yeah, like this. So now we need to add more points until we see the size of the stones looking good. Yeah, this is good. Maybe even a little bit more. Yeah, because this is not the full size, it's going to have like a little bit more um, shape to it. And let me see. Compute, preserve. Yeah, the pieces are not taking count the geometry itself, so it's good. We can now have like this connectivity, and then prefix piece attribute class piece, and then now we have like different pieces. And if you want to see each of these, so I'm going to just come in here, disable that, check this guy, and then single pass, and then you see some passes they have like this division, but it's the piece itself is not being defined by the original division of our squares here. It's going to take into account just the points of our thing there. So yeah, it's good. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the poly reduce. We're not going to use this guy here, so I'm going to delete this one. And the reshape also we're not going to use, and everything else we do want to use. But now we're going to see if we do this and we disable that, we're going to run this through 370 pieces. So I'm going to now enable that, and it's going to run over all these 300 pieces. So let me do that, and let's wait a little bit. I'll come back. Welcome back. So this is the result. I ended up adding a little bit more points, and this is the road that I got. And you see now it's hard to tell exactly where, but it's all the center of this is a little bit more lower in the y-axis, so it's going to help us have the water there. And now for this one we have the same thing. We get like our path here. That is actually let me bring the one that I had like before that is going to match this one. And now we have this guy, this one, and then it has like this. I'm just going to cancel because the subdivision here is a bit too abrupt. We don't need that much, so this is more than enough for this. And we have like this thing, so I'm going to even go about not having that one. This is still going to work, right? Because we have these two guys. We didn't even need to have like this group 1 and 2 because I just thought like we could have like the output front group and the back group. So if I do like this and this, we're going to have like these groups. And instead of having like that, I could disable these both. And on my tree divide here, I could just call for these two groups. No, sorry. These groups are on points. I would need to do like a group promote. And on my group promote, I'll get like these primitives because in the tree divide, it requires to be primitive. And then in here, I would then, let me just reduce that. Extrude back, extrude front. So now we have like more subdivisions on these groups. You see a lot more here. And then maybe we can get like a little bit of like step in there, maybe 2. Yeah, we have a little bit of subdivision there. And then in here we can have like maybe less. Yeah, it's good. Then we have like the noise, we have like this guy. I will come back this to 0.01. We don't need more than that. And doing the VGB combine. Okay, and then this is the end result of the combination of both. So now we need to calculate the UVs for both these surfaces. See, doesn't matter what we have. Like we have like this nice output that have the rocks, but we have like the dirt blending nicely in some areas with the rock. It's completely non-tile. It's not like tiling. It's just like whatever size you have is going to take longer to compute, but you're going to have like a very organic that never repeats. So it's really powerful to have this setup here. And then now, yeah, let's do the UVs. What I want to do now is prepare the UVs for that. And what I want to have, like, I want to have like an area where my characters are going to be. In this area, I want to have more resolution on the UVs than the rest. So let's create like a group. I already imagined the area that I want my characters to be because I want them to have like this curve. I want them to be around this area more or less. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a group. I want to add like a box. And this box, let me bring this one here. We can do like that. Maybe even a bigger area. Like so. A bit more. So this one, I want to group that. Primitives points and enable everything that's inside this. That's a more procedural way because then I can group the same thing on the other side to give more resolution to that one. So now we have this group, and on this group, let me think about it. I might want to create a group again. So let me group. This time I want to group by normal, so I'm going to call this up. Because the lower part, we don't care much about the UVs as well, right? So we want to have like, or we can even delete that. Because we have this for the simulation, we can use that for the simulation, but we can grab, yeah, let's delete everything that is, let me use like a delete node. And the delete node, we can delete everything that is based on the normal. I want to enable, I want to set like to -1 and 0 here. So everything that is pointing down. And then, yeah, you see. All right, so here we have cut a lot of geometry from that. We reduce it from 1,600,000. Yeah, I don't even know if that's worth the effort, but yeah, why not? Like, let's delete the bottom part. And then what I want to do here, I want to split that. So let's split it based on that group. So I want to split based on the group 3. So this section, we're going to have more resolution. And I'm going to do an labs auto UV just for this section. And we're going to have like a different one for the other part as well. All right, so if I look here, we have all this going on for that section of the terrain, and we could even use like a UV project, but the thing is that it wouldn't like be nice on these borders here. So this the best approach in this case. We could use rotations to increase even more the resolution of our patch. And then for the second one, we can do the same thing. We can just do labs, or for the second part, we can do a UV project, or let's do the, oh, what is going on? Yep. So let's do the same thing. So yeah, let's do the same thing. And but this time I want the UV tile to be the second one. So it's going to be in another thing, and it's going to be everything else except that selection that we had. So this is really good. We could do using the groups, but I prefer to do that way so it's more visible. And I'm not going to bother too much with any rotation or anything in this one. Yeah, for both of them actually. And I'll come back once it's finished. It's going to take a minute or so. Right, so here's the UVs for this everything else that is not in the foreground area. So if we have like both of them merged in here, so let me place down like a merge. And if we have like the main area, we have more real estate, so the resolution of the texture is going to be better. And of course, like this is if it would be in a production, that would be like a lot of different tiles, so you would go even beyond that for sure. And but for our case, like it's that's enough for us. So we have like UVs in here. That's great. Next we need to get like the UVs on our dirt layers. So let me just see what we can get, and let me we're probably going to get like a different technique for that, a more simple, like maybe just a projection would be enough, but we could also split that. I don't think it would be visible. This is our dirt layer, and I don't think it would be much visible. This dirt is going to be very simple texture, but let's do the same thing, because we have like this procedural way that we use like this box, and this box can be used as the same way. So I'm going to place like a group again. I'm going to just do that in here. No, maybe, yeah, this one. Sure. So we have like this selected, and then we can do like the split again. I don't care about the deletion for this one. Maybe yes, maybe not. But yeah, why not? Like maybe we're going to save like some polygons. We're deleting that based on the normals. So we're deleting things that are facing down on the y-axis. So let me go in here and let's see how many polygons. 2 million here and 4 million. So this, yeah, saved a lot of polygons. So let's keep that in place. Let me place this in here, and then we can just come to this and say this is group 4 now. So I need to come here and set like group 4, and we split. So I'm going to do a UV project for this guy. We can initialize, and it's going to initialize to the best plane. So it's a very simple, here we have like this for the UVs. It's good. And then for everything else, we might do something different. So maybe we can do a UV unwrap for these guys. Or you can use the auto UV thing. It would work as well. Yep. We could do the UV unwrap. Let me see what we have here. It's a lot of little tiny things that I don't like. So we're probably going to, let me do like maybe, yeah, let me do the UV project as well for this. So initialize, we're going to have like much less. It's very badly. So maybe not. Maybe let's I pause the video and I'm doing the auto wrap UV, so auto UV thing here, and let it cook. But I also want to set this to the second Udemy tile, and yep, I come back once it's finished. So I'm back. It was taking a bit too long. I gave up on the UV auto for that. I think it's going to be really tiny. It's enough, and if you really need more, then you can always do something about it and increase, improve on that. But that's great. So I'm going to merge this. That's it. We have prepared both layers. So we have. Oh, sorry. I need to do something about it here. So I will do like a UV layout on this guy. The UV layout allows us to do to move this to a different tile, so we can keep the same. This to manual UV layout. I'm going to place this here. I don't know if you can control it in here. Yeah, I think it's better to do UV layout. And then in here, what I want is to change to Udemy tiles and select that to be this. And then if we come back, we'll have. So now the next step would be to cache this. I will cache this to this, so it doesn't need to recook, and that's a static collider. So that is great for us. And then in our next lesson, we're going to keep working on this project and probably going to start bringing some characters and start also building the first effects. I'm going to focus first on the environmental effects that would be related to the rain at this stage. So we can start working on the rain. I'm just going to cache this to disk, and then next lesson we can bring some characters just to have like a thing set and a camera for the first shot, and then we can work down our environment effects. Thank you.